Dougie's Atomic Dustbin. Buckle up for the best in indie music.
Do you know what? How is that for timing? Perfect. Play a track, play a jingle, bosh, and just like that, both the band members arrive. Let me just see. I need to ask Tony to unmute. Martin's all right. I can't hear him, though. You there, Martin?
I am.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Tony, you there? You
Haven't got me?
Hey, there you go.
Here we are.
I'm looking over here, you see, because that's where you are, but my camera's here, so it's a bit unfortunate. I'm just like losing the fucking plot.
Fox you.
Yeah, it does, mate. Every time it's a nightmare. I've been in the studio all day editing and what have you, and it's been a busy day. It's been a busy day. So thanks for coming on the show. So the band is called Naked Without It.
Indeed.
Yeah. What's the rationale behind the name?
Two stories. He can do one. I'll do one.
Who wants first? Go on then. So I'll tell mine best because it's definitely better. So when back in the day, we used to be in the kind of local, music scene, and we played in different bands, like full electric bands. And at some point we met up and we thought we'd do this acoustic thing together. And so we were naked without all the full band backing. So that's where that kind of stems from. At least that's my story and the one I like.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Also, it's actually it's a line from a Jane's Addiction song.
Right.
Jane's Addiction song, like a mad screamy American metal band from the 90s. There's a song called Jane Says, and halfway through the song she says, without her wig she'd feel naked without it.
Wow.
And that's where the line came from. But yeah, Martin worked out a better version.
Yeah, I like that. I thought it was about drugs. I thought it was naked without it, like he's as in drugs. I don't know. I just that'd have been my take on it. Rock and roll and everything. Do you know what I mean?
There tends to be a few sort of references that turn up. Well, there you go. You played all the drugs earlier on, so sort of gives it away a bit.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's been a bit punky tonight, the show. It ebbs and flows every week, because on the show we play emerging artists, indie artists, and generally around the indie rock type of stuff. So, but yeah.
I like the last track was quite sort of like, there's a band called All the Young.
Oh, yeah.
I think they've just got back together. They're just out playing again, but their first album was brilliant. So yeah, last track sounded a bit like them.
Excellent. So you've have you been together before 2019? Am I right with what I've got there in my research, or is that wrong? Or are you brand new?
We were together. We did the original acoustic thing a long time ago.
Right.
And then sort of various things went on over the years, and I moved, Martin moved on with other stuff. And so we sort of separated for a good few years, and then this is the downer bit on the story. We used to have a drummer, as like Mark said, we used to be in separate bands, separate rock bands years ago, and we used to have the same drummer.
Right,
so
okay.
He was basically in about half a dozen bands. Basically, he was a drumming prostitute, really. So he was all over the place, but we had the same drummer. And then in 2019, unfortunately, he died.
Oh, shit.
So we got back down. We got back together at the funeral, having not seen each other for a good few years, and just sort of said, well, I'm still playing, you're still playing. Why don't we sort of, come up and we'll have a drink and have a laugh, and we did, and we just sort of got back together and got the guitars out. And like Martin tells a story, I still have all the old, I never throw anything away. So I still have all the old handwritten lyrics and stuff from back in those days. And so we started doing some of the old songs. And the next time he came up, we literally went out and played an open mic up the road from where I live. And we played a couple of songs, and the fella, we sort of said to the fella, well, should we do another one? And he just said, well, yeah, play as long as you like. And we were a bit like, oh, okay, well, we must be doing something right. So, so we sort of decided to carry on from there.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I'm a bit of a nutcase. I was going to say, you should have both gone and stand in front of the coffin and gone, hey, we're naked without you. So, you know what I mean? It's, but that's just me, yeah. Bless him. So, well, it's a bit like...
Weird stuff going on as it was without that. So.
It's a bit like Lele Records and their band, which is Coastal Fire Department. They're in Guernsey, and obviously there's There's loads of bands, and the drummers are in loads of different bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their drummer is in about 3 bands. It's just crazy how it all works. But hey, if it's a good drummer, it's a good drummer, and it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, so you got one track out. So you've got you're releasing some more stuff later on in the year, I believe. Is that right? Or
Yeah. You want to go, Mark?
Yeah, so we've got the last thing we did was we did a thing called the Singles Club, which someone had the great idea that we should do a new track every 6 weeks, and then we put that together. So, but then of course, once you actually work out how long that actually takes, then it took us a year and a half to kind of get it finished. So, but we did, and yeah, it was good. It was good, productive time for. So that's done, and then this year we're doing it slightly differently. We're going to put out probably 4 EPs of 3 songs each, and do it that way.
That's an undertaking in itself, isn't it? Really, that's quite a lot of work.
We don't like to sit still for too long.
The stupid thing is, I worked that out, and we haven't really talked about this. I worked out that what we're actually doing is, if we're putting out 12 songs in a year, we're going to be doing one every 4 weeks rather than one every 6 weeks. So I'm doing more here.
Yeah, but it sounds better, doesn't it?
Fortunately,
classic.
Yeah. Fortunately, we got a bit ahead, so we're okay. We've got some stuff recorded already.
So first 3 on the go, so yeah, we're doing all right.
But it's time consuming because I did I do a podcast as well, but I've been editing that, and I've been in here for 4 or 5 hours today just to edit a 1.5 hour show and put it out on Rumble. And I'm like, oh my god! And I've got last week's interview to do, and yours I'll have to do tomorrow. It's like, oh my god, I need someone to do it for me. But anyway, I'm not in that position at the minute, so it's great. So you're based down in London, are you? You in the smoke?
We juggle between the two really. Cause, I mean, we when we had the bands before, we were in a lovely little town called Slough.
Oh yeah.
See, now I always do like a little line. We do a song. We do a song where we basically we call it the national anthem of Slough. It's again, there's drug references in there, strangely enough. And the thing is that everybody, wherever we play, I can normally chuck in the line about that we come from. Well, I come from like a lovely little village called Slough, and there's always someone that turns around and pulls the face, and I can then focus on that person because they know what Slough's like.
There's a handbag next to them and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, aren't you? Are you're Suffolk somewhere, aren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah, where are you, Kurt?
No, I'm in the Midlands. I'm in the Midlands.
Yeah,
I'm in a big city called Nuneaton.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not. It's a town. It's just outside Coventry. I'm originally from Manchester, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I've lived down here for 20 years. I've not lived in Manchester since 1999. So, but I've been all over the place: Holland, Doncaster, here. So
the Manchester connection to Slough was a brilliant thing back in the day because I used to have a friend of mine who was from Manchester. And he was absolutely livid one time because Slough was named as the murder capital of England, and we took the title from Manchester. Yeah. So he was gutted.
Yeah, Gunchester, that's what it's called, in Moss Side. I'll tell you what, it's tasty round there. I used to be a butcher, and one of the butchers we used to deliver to, they used to have an armed guard on the door in Moss Side.
Oh, yeah.
Armed guard. Yeah, that's how tasty it was. So yeah.
Well, at least if you were a butcher, at least you had the knives of some sort of like very sharp implements.
I used to work for a guy, and he was, I don't know at the time, he was probably in his 60s, and he works a lot on his own, and someone tried to rob him one day. He got a boning knife in his neck. Oh, get out of my shop. So he grappled him round the neck. He just went like that with his knife. Get out. So, yeah, fancy messing with someone who's got loads of knives and cleavers.
Why would you do that? Yeah.
Absolute idiots. No, it's great. It's good. I like your vibe. I like how you could tell you know what you're talking about, what you've done, and it's nice. And I like that. I like the buoyancy of your tone, which is great. So, you doing any gigs?
You away, Mark?
Yeah, we've got a few coming up this month, next month. What month are we in? January. It's still January.
Nearly, yeah. So there's only about 40 days left in January, I think.
Exactly, that's what I thought, yeah. So yes, we've got one where we're in Henley, over there that way.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Henley.
down in
Posh.
That's Henry
Yeah,
Regatta
it
and
is.
all that. Very highbrow. It's
It's
definitely not
amazing that
slough.
the fact, it's definitely not like Slough.
No.
The Slough joke definitely has a lot of intake of breath when we make
Yeah,
it.
they fully understand Slough.
And then we're where else are we? Back in London. We're up down at the Carlton Tavern.
Back in London with Tom, yeah, Carlton Tavern, yeah. You're a bit busy on other stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, and and then we're in Staines, Woking.
Yeah, Staines.
Oh,
I think
Staines.
it's
I've got a
Swindon.
friend who lives in Staines. Yeah.
Staines upon Thames, though.
Yeah,
Staines, yeah.
it's quite
Talking
nice
of
round
Thames,
there.
but,
It's quite nice round there. I quite like Staines. It's not a bad place, really. It's not slow, as we say. We keep bringing in because we have a band on here that come on every now and then, and they're from Morecambe, and obviously Morecambe's next to Blackpool. And the running joke is, don't go to Blackpool; it stinks of piss. So that's our thing with Blackpool. Do you know what I mean? That's our slow. Wonderful.
The Staines gig is one of our little tours of HMVs, because the HMV stores, I don't know if they're the same up north, but down here they do a thing called Live and Local.
Correct.
So you can literally go play HMV on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is so much fun, because I mean there's two bits to it, because obviously we get to do a gig in the afternoon, which means the gig's over and done with by about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we can nip out and have a drink. So it works out perfect. You haven't got to wait around. But we do have lots of fun, especially if we do Staines or somewhere near where we normally play, because we played one in Woking, which isn't far from Staines.
Yeah.
And we do a song called Spinning, and we when we first started playing it goes down really well. And there was a fella called Paul who just got up one day. I always thought it should have like some sort of dance to it, because it's perfect. And Paul suddenly jumped up. We didn't know the fella, but him and his Mrs. Jenny were there, and he just jumped up and started spinning to the song.
Right.
So we now have a few people that get up and start spinning generally. But to watch Paul spinning his way through an HMV on a Saturday afternoon, running around the aisles, is hilarious. So yeah, there's a bit on YouTube of that. So if someone searches Naked Without It and Spinning, it's HMV Woking, and he's tearing around the aisles.
We'll have a look at that, because I went to see one of our bands that we promote. They did HMV a couple of months ago, and it's Free Spirits, they're called. And it was really nice to go in the afternoon and watch them, and I did some video for them, and obviously the HMV do that live. I think they put it on Instagram, don't they, or TikTok? Instagram, I think. So I think it's really good for bands, and we keep saying to some of our bands that we talk to, go and do an HMV. You're not going to get paid, but you could make a bit of a build something. Don't get a few people there. You don't know who's going to walk through the door, do you?
No, that's right. No, absolutely.
That's the thing about it. You never know who's going to show up on a Saturday afternoon, just in there cruising around. So it's good. You always get people who come and stop and have a listen, and sold a few CDs, and giving out some info and that kind of stuff. So
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good what they're doing, because you put your merch there as well, can't you? Sorry, your albums or whatever, and they'll sell them for you. So yeah, if any bands out there, I think you have to contact your local HMV, not a central one. Go into the local store, speak to the manager, arrange it. Seriously, go and do it. Yeah, you're not going to get paid for it, but hey, you're probably not getting paid for a lot of stuff. For a few hours, you can. It's content, and bands need these younger bands need content, need to be seen to be out there to grow the fan base. So I think it's a brilliant thing that the HMV are doing. That's good. Yeah.
The staff are really nice as well. The staff always seem to be really into it, because they feed it onto TikTok. So and if you do stuff with HMV and you tag an HMV, you tend to get really good hits on TikTok, and they'll really use the footage and stuff. So it's really worth other bands doing. Yeah,
great.
But not round our way, because we're busy doing them.
No, it's good for them. I've also got I've got to ask you a question about, because when Jenny said to me, she said about you've worked with tremolos, haven't you? I've been in tremolos, or is that
That's him?
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, it is me. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Tell us a bit. Tell us that story.
How I got to be in the tremolos.
Yeah.
Well, Jody, the drummer, his dad is Chip Hawkes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So obviously he's been around it his whole life, and he's played with them for a number of years after Dave Munden was no longer able, and his dad now is unfortunately not too well. But so he's not really able to perform himself. But what he wanted was that the music would carry on, and do all that. So yeah, I was asked to come in and play some guitar, and yeah, we'd go out and do that. So we've been out this year, and yeah, just kind of keep the music alive. And it's great because that kind of 60s music is all about the harmonies and all about just those songs. Really, as soon as you kind of play them, and they're so well written, and it kind of ties in, I think, because obviously to do that gig I have to work on my harmonies, and because everything is just 4-part harmony all the time.
Yeah.
So you really know where you are and how it works together. And some of them are just ridiculous, but brilliant. So we do that. And obviously when Tony and I do stuff, that's my thing, is to kind of work out my harmonies. And so it kind of, one kind of feeds into the other. My general philosophy is, as long as I've got the right guitar on, I'll know which band I'm playing in. So
I like that. No, but you're right. It's mad because I grew up with all that. I was born in the '60s. Mum and Dad are big music fans, so all that kind of music I grew up listening to and singing and what have you. And so it's amazing. And obviously, you're too young to have been in the original band, but it's amazing to be sat here talking to you when, as a young lad, I was listening to that music. That just blows my mind. Do you know what I mean? That absolutely blows my mind.
It's that thing of and that's the whole objective of it, because obviously we've done kind of these package tours with other 60s bands, and sadly there's not that many of them left. So, and it is that conversation of, do you carry it on with with newer people and continue the music going, or do you just kind of end it, really, which to me would be a real tragedy. And we're lucky that we've got Jody, who is obviously, his dad is one of the sort of key people in that band.
Yeah.
So he's got that. So for him as well, his whole life he's been around that music. So it's really sort of important to him, and tells a few stories about growing up watching his dad and that kind of stuff. And we've got the old man's blessing. So we were rehearsing
absolutely brilliant
in the house, and he came in to give us the. He was like, "Yeah, you guys are all right."
That's good. And is that with Chesney as well? Does Chesney get involved in that, or just tour with him separate?
So yeah, I toured them separately. So Chesney did. So a couple of years ago, what kind of how that started was that they started the tour with his dad singing, and sadly he got ill as the tour began. So Chesney came in and took over the lead vocals for that tour, and then we did another tour after that with Chesney fronting it. And then this year he's last year he's been kind of a bit too busy. So we have someone else in singing now. A couple of guys from a band called Bilbo. I don't know if you remember them. In the 70s, and so that's where we carry on. So
hats off to you. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely wonderful, brilliant. I had to cover that. I had to ask you about it because I'd shoot myself. Well, not shoot myself in the foot. I would not be happy with myself if I didn't ask you. And that's a brilliant story, and I agree with you. It's nice to carry it on and for that to keep going. And there's still some of the, what's the word? There's still the DNA still there, isn't it? The DNA,
yeah.
And if
the legacy is still there.
Yeah, and if you've got band members that have joined at various points and have carried it on, then how that all works sort of washes over the other members. So, well done for that. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
He's got another. He downs it a bit. He's got another tour coming up as well that he's not particularly plugging, but you should plug it. We should plug it for Ches, really. They're off to Europe, aren't you?
So Chesney, we have 2 tours really. So he has his own tour out in March, April time. Which there are still some. It's mostly sold out, but there are some tickets available. That's through the UK. And then before that, we were going out supporting James Blunt through Europe. Under that.
And I love James. What a character he is. He likes to crowd surf, doesn't he, in a dinghy and all sorts of stuff. I saw him in London, and he came out on a Union Jack dinghy round the crowd, and everyone's buzzing around. Absolute nutcase. Brilliant artist, brilliant performer. Absolutely great.
So that should be a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that next month.
Fantastic. That's so good. We've left you out of this, Tony, haven't we? We've
all right. No, it's all right. It's what he does. It's fine. No, it's good. Like I say, it there, and it's really nice, to be honest, that the Tremolos and Chesney's band are like really welcoming to me. Yes. Just because whenever if I go see them, I'm like part of the family, which is really, really nice. So they don't have to do that, and they do, which is great.
That's great. That'll be the character of those individuals anyway, won't it? I suppose, and you're a nice guy, so why not? And you're associated with mine, so hey, you're part of the team, are you?
Yeah, it's nice.
It is, yeah.
So, are you touring with anyone? Any big names? Martin, have you got? Who are you with? Go on.
What New Year's Day, Mark?
Sorry, I meant.
So New New Year's Day, we did the London New Year's Day parade with Peter Andre. That's where we were this year. So yeah,
cool.
that was fun. So yeah, it's been all right so far this year.
Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
quite busy. Tony's keeping me out of trouble, so that's it. That's the way it goes. So.
Yeah. So what about you, Tony? Do you dabble with any other bands, or are you just on this?
No,
this
I'm too busy doing this because I mean I've got, as I say, I've got 12 songs to
Do
get
all
done
that
this
when
year.
I'm away.
Last year it took me.
I see what he's doing here. He's keeping he's keeping you busy while he's on tour. He's loaded it up. Do you know what I mean? I am the one and only. He's all right.
Yeah.
Tony's all right back there. He's okay. He's doing something.
He's just doing all the graft. Yeah.
I love it. I love his style.
This is it. Yeah, he leaves me to do all the words, or he leaves me to do all the lyrics and stuff. The way we work, because I mean, I live in Weston-super-Mare. Martin lives in Surrey, so.
Right.
What we actually do is I'll come up with generally like the genesis of the song, and then we work via WhatsApp really. I'll sort of like shut Martin down an idea of a song from WhatsApp, and then gradually as it sort of changes, once it gets to a reasonable sort of level, I'll send him down that, and then he'll work on his guitar parts at the other end. We are a little bit lazy where we don't rehearse, so we will get to like an HMB or something. And then we'll we sort of like just put together what we've done sometimes. And we did one song recently, and because I gradually change it and forget to tell him sometimes that I've changed it. So we'll go to play, and we played a gig in Bracknell, didn't we, at a Pippin in Bracknell, and he said to me, right, it definitely starts with a chorus, doesn't it? I said, yep, definitely. So we started playing, and I just went straight into the first verse. So he's like, what are you doing? So sometimes things go a bit like that.
There's a cost saver for bands, haven't they? Don't need to have a band a rehearsal room. Just go around the HMVs on a Saturday afternoon and practice.
Yeah. Nobody minds. And the WhatsApp stuff seems to work for us, so yeah, it's fine.
Because the thing that you find is that you've got the recording. So like I have Tony playing guitar and singing on WhatsApp, so I'll play along to that and practice my bits. So that's how I think it's going to go. And he, and so then when we get together and it's different, then I'm always slightly. You've changed. So
that's a frustrating. So that's the question. So obviously you do all your tours, and both have done stuff in the past. So you go from that tour with all whatever's going on there and a bit of fame and everything, and then you go back to doing a gig in Slough or a gig in a HMV. How does that feel to you? You just sometimes think, what am I doing? What's this all about? I don't know. Or you might actually like that intimacy. I sort of think, I'd be interested.
I mean, they're all different in their own way, but equally I get to stand up there and play guitar and do that. So to me, it doesn't really matter whether it's that kind of. I mean, obviously, you play some big gigs and it's great, and you get to do that thing. But yeah, like you say, when you can actually look everyone in the eye and know what's going on and play that, it's great. And it's a different vibe because what we do is quite intimate in the sense of it's two guitars and two voices. That's it. So it kind of lends itself quite well to those kind of that vibe. Whereas, playing some of those bigger gigs, it's a different thing. You got a big full rock band and we're all playing and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, like I say, I get to play guitar for a living, so I'm just happy doing that.
I know, that's the dream for a lot of people, isn't it? And because the thing is with that, the acoustic, there's nowhere to hide, is there? Two guitars, two vocals. There's no room for, what I mean? You could hide behind some of the other music, can't you? And the other, the other instruments. So
yeah, and that's the thing I kind of like about it as well, is that there isn't anywhere to hide, and also to make it interesting because there is just two of it. If you've got a bigger band, then you can get different instrumentation and you can work out other parts. But with this, it's literally what you play is what you play, and if you mess it up, everyone is going to know, and they're going to know it's you. So it's a really good challenge to do that as well. So yeah, I love it.
We're quite good at bluffing that bit though, aren't we? Because you do sort of think sometimes. I mean, the only thing we do get sometimes is that we make a few mistakes here and there, and as every band does, but it's in the way. Now, but the thing that gets me sometimes is we have a couple of people that come and see us who literally, I'm sure, they know the words better than I do. Yeah. So the problem will be like if I'm concentrating on something else or whatever, and then I'll go into the wrong verse, I do get people actually will be looking at me going, "What are you doing? That's not right." And you know, well, it's my song. I'll sing it how I want, mate.
Yeah, and you've got your band members sat next to you doing exactly. I know. I've got to put with them all the time.
He keeps up, yeah.
I think it is a skill to be able to sing the wrong words at someone if you sing in the wrong words and convince them that they're wrong. That takes work. It doesn't come easily.
Yeah. But it is, like you said earlier, it's the dream for bands to be able to do it full time, because a lot of bands are working as well. So to actually do it as a full time job is absolutely phenomenal. So, is there any advice you'd give to a young band who's just setting up or wants to sell? What would you say to them if they're getting into rock and roll?
I mean, it's a different world now. I mean, back in the day when we used to do this, you'd go out flyering and you'd go and send unsolicited material to record companies, stuff like that. Whereas now it doesn't really work that way. So it's all about, content, like you say, and it's about exposure, and it's being out on all those platforms and just find a way to connect to people. But I mean, I think ultimately it's about the music. And the problem is that it's almost a full-time job to be working your social media and, doing all those things. But equally, you do spend as long working on and crafting your, what you do, because it's not like the days when you could spend 3 months in a rehearsal studio, rehearsing songs and getting them right, and then putting stuff out. Now you have to have fresh content every day or twice a day, and so you have to be working on that all the time. And that's difficult. If a new band, like people say, you've got your whole life to write your first record, but 6 months to write the second one, and in some ways that's true, because you're constantly putting out material that you don't get a chance to develop. So it is just that thing of still go out and play as much as you can, and because like when lockdown happened, and everyone went online and you could try things out and do things differently, but that idea is still maintained. I think that it's getting the music out in some form or other and getting people to listen, which the downside of access now is that there is so much stuff to filter through. You've got to find some way of connecting with people. So things like this are great. You play new music and things like that. So if people are sort of interested in that, that's where they can go and find that out. But it's being a musician, and it's being a social media creator. And a great live performer, and everything else that goes with it.
I know, and I'm glad you've said that, because I'll keep banding on. I'm doing a lot of TikToks about excuse me, bands needing to connect, because we're getting bombarded with music. But bands, I believe now, they're not competing, and all too often they're competing with other bands. Oh, there's another band, let's compete with them. They're not competing with them, they're competing with attention, and the attention that they're competing with. So everyone doom scrolling, so they need to grab them. And also, I was listening to a track the other day, and then what it does, it gives you another track, and I'm listening to it thinking, this is all right, yeah, it's not bad, but I've got no connection to it because I don't even know who the band is, and in the end I turned it off and got something else on. And so that is what's happening out there with bands now, is they need to have that human connection with their audience, and then people will get on board with them and go, I like these. Like earlier on I was playing some tracks, Entropy and things like that, watch all their social media stuff. I've had them on the show, I feel connected to them. So guess what? When they release stuff, I want to find it. I want to listen to it. I want to consume it. And I think that's what bands need to do. So I appreciate saying that. But it's drastically different even in the last 10 years to what it used to be before. It's amazing, really, what they have to do just to keep going.
Well, I'd say we did say at a gig the other week, there's, as you say, there's so much else you've got to do. You've got to have the socials going. You've got to do this, that. I mean, we've put out a couple of CDs now, and we've done like the limited editions to make it a little bit more interesting, so that people will actually bother to part with cash for it. And I said the other week, Martin's made me. There's a couple of things he's made me. He's made me. I did key rings for the last album, so he's made me a bit of a jeweler. I did all the graphics for various stuff, so he's made me far better on a computer. He's made my guitar playing far better. He's made my songwriting far better. But I say overall, he's made me a massive show off. So that's what he's done for me. Really,
that's nice. And it's good. It's good that you're learning new skills and new ways of working. Really, it is though, isn't it? It's got to be done. It's got to be done in this day and age. Like you say, you can't just hand a lot of flyers out nowadays or put them on a poster on somewhere because no one's going to see them, are they?
No.
But I tell you the thing that Tony did do actually, which is brilliant and is properly old school, is he got a load of badges printed up, like
Oh yeah.
and people absolutely love those. You know, they can't get enough of the badges from their lanyards at work or wherever it is. You know, all the staff at HMV are like all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, you're right.
But also then you see people wearing these badges, and of course people go, "Oh, Naked Without, what's that about?" And then it's an old school bit of advertising. We always give them to other bands if they're on the same bill, and so watching the headliner wearing a badge with your name on it is fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
There's a bat. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a
Yeah, I could just about make out. Yeah.
bunch somewhere near there.
So
You're right.
that's a proper old school way of doing it, but it really works. So,
People love a badge, yeah.
Well, you're
They do
right.
love a
This
badge.
one's a bit rusty, but I used to do a thing called Pounce interviews at network making. So I used to go up with a microphone and go, Pounce interviews, you won't expect it. Tell me about your business. Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. And I used to give out Pounce interviews badges.
oh, there you go. Nice.
Oh, where's my badge? Where's my badge? There's your badge. That one's been in my drawer. It's gone a bit rusty, but you're right. And I think it's how can you be different now to everyone else? So if everyone's doing the same thing, how can you be different? So it might even be send a letter to someone, or one of the guys I used to know, he used to send a pizza to, if you want to speak to an MD, he used to send a pizza in with the MDs, and because no one's going to refuse, the boss has ordered a pizza, are they? And then when it opens up, he goes, give us a ring and need to chat with you inside a message. Do you know what I mean? That is just genius, isn't it? How'd you get through the gatekeepers? With a pizza for the boss. It's his dinner. Do you know what I mean? Daft things like that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's whatever, donuts or whatever it is. I don't know, but it's interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see how it develops over the next couple of years with other stuff that's going on. Great, honestly, absolutely brilliant. So, where's the best place to find you if people want to get hold of you?
All over the socials, basically. I mean, everything is generally on under at NWI Band.
Yeah.
Because again, the cool thing is now you have to be the album that we put out was called Singles Club. That's the latest album that's got all the drugs on it, and it's got the last sort of 3-4 singles on. But if you search Naked Without It and Singles Club on Google, then you're generally in trouble.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of very disappointed people.
This is we always hashtag Singles Club, and I love the fact that the searches they must be so disappointed when it's two blokes with acoustic guitars that come up, So
fully clothed.
Yeah, hey, you get a few hits if you did a little QR code, Naked Without You, Singles Club. People have been having a bit of that. Push straight to your website.
Yeah. So any of the socials, obviously, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, obviously, as well. Yeah. So all the info's on there.
Yeah, I like. We are on X a lot. Right, before you, if have I not asked you anything you wanted to get out there? Is there anything I've not asked you wanted to say?
Not really. Just the Singles Club album is out there. That's the most recent one. New stuff will start coming out in about March. We did one previous album, which was called Habits Far Too Bright, which is bit earlier, but there's some cracking songs on there as well. There's plenty of stuff. Anybody wants to buy them, come on the socials and let me know, or they're on Bandcamp as well. They're available on Bandcamp to buy and download if you want. But
every time people say that, I always want to say this one time at Bandcamp, you know what I mean? But,
and me.
Right, what we normally ask the bands to do is, can you do an artist drop? So can one of you say, this is Naked Without It, and you're listening to Dougie Stone Radio, and we'll chop it up and put it out there.
Okay.
Go on then.
This is Naked Without It, and you're listening to Dougie Stone Radio.
Absolutely wonderful. Love
what
it.
A voice for radio you've got.
No, he's good. Because we're about time in the show where we normally wrap it up, and so. But I could chat to you for hours, I think, because I think you've got a lot of stories to tell. You're really likeable guys. Love what you're about, and we wish you all the success in everything you're doing as a double act, as a duo. So wonderful. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's a double act. It's Morecambe and Wise.
Double act, yeah. Duo. I changed it
More
then.
accurate, to be fair. Yeah.
So, sometimes the connection between there and there is a bit skew with, and stuff.
I like it.
Stuff comes out here, and it's not even. I'm not even. Seriously, I watch some of my videos when I'm interviewing people, not you guys, but when I'm doing me Pounce interviews, I have to watch it back to see what I've said to them. And I go, oh my God, did I say that? Because if something pops into my head when I'm interviewing them, it just comes straight out. no filter,
Yeah.
just come straight out. And my brother says, I don't know how you've not been punched, but there you go.
Well, I do the same thing at gigs after time because, I'll try and work. Look at him saying true. I'll work out some ideas sometime, and all of a sudden somebody else will take me away, and I'll have a chat about that, and then I move into the next thing, and you think we better get back to the songs at some point. So yeah, sometimes we're given like half-hour set, and we did one, didn't we? We had to drop a song at one of the ones in Camberley. We had to drop a song because I'd waffled on so much.
Yeah, but and we're still going on an interview now, and I was going to wrap it up. But on that point, I think that's really good because I've been to some gigs or I've had some bands, and because we do something in May, and the band's just played the music, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Stop and have a chat to us. Make us feel part of being on stage. So I think people would probably prefer to drop a track and have that conversation with them because they get to know you more, and I think they'll feel more because you're not going to do that same thing every night at every gig you do. So they'll actually go away thinking that was for us. They was talking to me, and I think that's brilliant.
I do that as well because I think because we do get a few, you get a few people come and see you. There's a few of the same people, and you think, well, they've heard these stories. So I need to change the stories a bit or come up with something different because I can't do the same stories over and over. But on that front, we were years ago when we first started back up, we were playing on an internet show, and we were waiting to go on, sort of thing. And Martin said to me something about like, oh, well, don't worry about it, just wait, because we're the entertainment. And it really sort of resounded with me a bit because I thought, oh, okay, right. We're not just here to play the songs and look at us. We're like looking at our shoes or anything like that. We're here to entertain. So, and we have to keep people entertained. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And we do a song. There's a song that's it's worth finding on YouTube. We do a song called "One Too Many," which we normally do at the end, which is what I always say to people is a call and response song. So basically. I'll shout one too many, and they have to shout one too many back, and it's a drinking song really. But that's really good. There's a video on YouTube of us doing it at the Carlton Tavern, and the fella that promotes it, Tom Bright, was stood behind us, so you can see us doing our bit, but it's more about the crowd singing back to us, which is great. That's always good, and when we get a good crowd doing that, it's quite funny. Especially, and it even worked in HMVs. When you're in an HMV and you're pointing at people, going, just making them sing back on a Saturday afternoon, and they've never seen you before. They just came out shopping. They're like, "Why am I singing back to this bloke?"
Got it here. In fact,
there you go.
I'm going to put this on when you've gone.
Okay, cool.
And we'll wrap it up with that. Janice will go mad because completely messes with the playlist. But
sorry, Janice.
Right.
Thanks, Janice.
Thanks for coming on. Love you to bits. I really appreciate your time, and keep in touch. Let us know what's going on. Keep in touch with Janice. She'll get you on the show if there's anything going on, and wish you all the success with whatever you're doing.
Brilliant.
Thank you for having us. And
great to talk to you.
I'll be back.
Cheers, lads.
So, thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There's your earworm for tonight. One too many. Weren't they great? I absolutely love talking to them. And I often say to Janice, some interviews are easy and dead enjoyable. That was one of them. And sometimes it's like pulling blood out of a stone. And you'll probably know, Janice knows when I'm interviewing a band if I'm struggling. And I go, oh my God, that was hard work. But that's the difference between when you've got an experienced band and you've got inexperienced bands, and that's why we bring the inexperienced bands on to get them accustomed to having a chat and talking to them. And it's really nice for them to spend their time with us. Tony and Martin, thanks very much.